This weekend at UFC Vegas 89, I had my first max bet for over 7 months. This bet cashed and won me over $50,000, which according to Google is the national average salary in the USA. The bet only took 5 minutes and 21 seconds to cash, meaning that in 5 minutes and 21 seconds, I made the same amount of money that the average person in the United States of America earns over the entire year. Now, first of all, me just saying that out loud seems crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, that doesn't seem fair. It's not fair. How can someone grind away, slave away for an entire year and get paid the same amount that I got paid in 5 minutes and 21 seconds? Well, the fact of the matter is life is not fair. And in the game I'm in and where I'm at in sports betting, it's possible to make that money. So I'm gonna tell you exactly how I did it, why I did it. And as always, like all of my videos, I'm gonna try and give you some of the key takeaways that you can use in your own gambling. So first of all, this bet was on Payton Talbott. I had a max bet on him at odds of -110, and I actually bet on him all the way up until -140 range because I wanted to get a lot of money down. And something that you may not know about professional gambling is that it's not easy to get big amounts of money down. We play a constant cat and mouse game with the bookies, opening up new accounts, having people put bets on for you, getting a portion of your money down on one book, getting another amount of money on another book, getting the maximum amount of money down early in the week on one line, but having to bet it at a worse line later in the week to get the full amount of your money down. KYC, know your customer. There's so many things that we have to do as professional sports bettors to actually get our money down. But this weekend, I wanted to get a lot of money down on Payton Talbott. He was taking on Cameron Simon, and I just thought it was a great matchup for him. I'm not gonna go into my entire breakdown of the fight because I've already done that to death. I gave out a full breakdown of this fight many times on many different videos, actually 3 different videos I can speak about off the top of my head on my YouTube channel where I broke this fight down in full. But basically what I said verbatim pre-fight is that Cameron Simon cannot take damage or deliver damage the way that Payton Talbott can, and Payton Talbott is just too physical, he hits too hard, and his pace and pressure is going to be too much for Cameron Simon. It was a very easy fight for me to break down, and that's the reason I had so much conviction and I put a 10-unit play on it. The last time I had a max bet, as I said, was over 7 months ago, and it was on Ailin Perez to defeat Ashley Evans Smith at odds of -170. Now, the main thing I'm proud about both of these bets is that both bets very much look like max bets. Ailin Perez won 30-25, which is not a scorecard you see often in the UFC, and Payton Talbott looked around -1000, completely dominated from the starting bell, and got a second round TKO. Both the fighters that I put a max bet on looked around the -1000 range, and they both made their opponents look like amateur fighters. There was a time where I used to play a lot of max bets. There was actually a time where I split my bankroll and I started putting a lot of money on my max bets because I already had a great record on max bets. I knew I saw the game well. I knew I saw the game different than most people betting on sports, betting on MMA, and I had a massive edge on the market. So I wanted to use that edge to the full extent of it. I knew that you have to be risky in life. So I split my bankroll and started to put big bucks on my max bets, and I won most of them. My current record for my big and max bets is 36 wins and 3 losses. This is how I really made my money from MMA betting. These bets propelled me to the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I was making way back in 2021. Last year, 2023, I changed up my style a little bit and stopped doing as many max bets, and the reason for that is because I started to outlay more units in my regular bets. To offset the amount of units that I outlaid, because I never wanted to outlay so many units, I had to dial the max bets and big bets in a little bit. It's been a positive thing for me. I've actually made more money than I ever have, and now when I have a max bet and when I have a big bet, I'm even more confident than I ever was. Takeaway for you is that when you have a very confident prediction, you should go all in on it. When I say all in, I don't mean put all of your money in. Do not get me confused here. I mean, put a higher portion of your money on that bet. For the most part, if you're more confident about a bet, you should put more money on it. It's not always the case, because maybe there's less value on a bet that you're more confident in because the market is a little bit sharper on that specific position. Maybe you're sticking to a strict staking plan and you don't have any room for variation, so you want to stick to the same stake on each bet, even if you're more confident on one. There are reasons why you wouldn't put more money on one play, but for the most part, if you have a very strong read like I did in the fight between Payton Talbott and Cameron Simon, then you should be putting more money on it. Cameron Simon was in over his head in this fight. He was no match for Payton Talbott. And because I knew that, I had to put a large portion of money on it. I'm gonna show you some bet slips on the screen now, totaling around $53,000. So this was all on one fight, Payton Talbott versus Cameron Simon. Now on Google, the average USA yearly salary is $58,000. So I won just under the average yearly salary. So, you know, you can go ahead and call me a liar for 4 or 5 grand. But I basically won the yearly salary of a USA worker in 5 minutes and 21 seconds. It's absolute insanity when I think about it. All I can say is I'm blessed, I'm grateful, but I've also put in the work to be here, right? It wasn't always like this. I've been betting on sports for 15 years now, consistently, every single week. And for about 8, 9 of those years, I wasn't profitable. I wasn't making any money. I was actually losing money long term over those 8 or 9 years. But I stuck at it. I kept gambling. I kept betting. I actually learned how to bet, which is a big distinction that people have to do at some point. Once I learned how to bet, I started winning slowly. I slowly built up my bankroll. Then I took risks along the way, big risks, like I said, with my big and max bets. Those are what really propelled me to have big stakes. And from there, I was able to maintain. And now winning $100,000 in one day on one UFC event is not foreign to me at all. I've already done it 3 times this year, and multiple times this year, I've won over $50,000 on one fight. Just like the Brandon Royval versus Brandon Moreno fight, just like the Neil Magny and Mike Malott fight, where I bet on Neil Magny, and just like the Payton Talbott and Cameron Simon fight, where I had a max bet on Payton Talbott. I'm the most honest, open, and transparent guy with you, right? It's very important to be conservative and smart with your bankroll because you never want to go out of the game, right? If you lose your entire bankroll, you're not in the game anymore. But I'm also being open and honest with you and telling you what I did to make the money that I made. Because a lot of people that made a lot of money gambling, they bet a lot of their net worth. And while maintaining proper bankroll management is very, very important and is something that I will do and have done from when I started betting until the day I stopped betting, I'm going to be practicing bankroll management, but I'll also be taking big risks when I think it is called for. And with my big and max bets, big risks are massively called for. So just to be clear, when I'm betting on my big and max bets, I'm pulling money from my daily life, my entire net worth, and putting a big amount down on said fighter. I did it in 2021 where I completely split my bankroll and had a bankroll strictly for big and max bets to take big risks on, and then a normal bankroll to tide me over and still earn me a good amount of money from my regular bets. That's how I like to play the game, maybe a little bit more risky, but he who dares wins. So something you can take away from this is don't be afraid to go big if you think you have a very strong read. Now never go as big as if you lose the bet it's gonna break you. I never ever did that. But what I did do is go super big as to where if I did lose that bet, well, I'd be in a much worse position than if I would have won it. Let's just put it that way. But I never used my entire bankroll. I will never use my entire bankroll. But basically the whole video is just to tell you that there's certain times in life where going very aggressive makes sense. And I already have a video on that on my YouTube channel. And I'm never ever gonna conform to the Gambling 101 rulebook and say that you should never go above 5% bet. You should only bet 1%, 2% on your strong positions. I'm never gonna do that because that's not what I did. And look at the position I'm in right now. And that's not what Warren Buffett says that you should invest in your investment portfolio. All of these guys have gone heavy on positions in the past, including me. So I'm gonna tell you the realness and facts, unlike 99% of other people out there. So this video has been like all over the place, a little bit round the houses, but I do want to round it off by saying shout out to Payton Talbott. I appreciate you for making me that amount of money. I'm gonna offer a portion of this money to a charity of your choice or to help with camp costs or whatever you wanna use it for. I do it very often when I have a big win. I offer a portion of that money to the fighter. Sometimes they accept, sometimes they don't accept, sometimes they ignore me, sometimes they don't ignore me. But I've done it many times in the past and I'm gonna do it again this weekend based on the $50,000 plus that I earned on Payton Talbott. So shout out to everyone watching. We've got another card this weekend. So I'm going to be back with a breakdown video of that this week, like I do every week. Good luck on all your bets. Let's cash these tickets.